Damn it. James has this thing about ruining every podcast. He's really good at it. I'm really proud of you, sweetheart. The veg box came. Sweet. They're super early, actually. How are you? Good morning. This is the first podcast of 2020. It is Saturday the 4th. Yeah, I was right. The Saturday the 4th of January. And I decided to do a live YouTube podcast. Hi! So I have lots of things I'm going to talk about, but I might be kind of talking to people in the chat as well. I did put up on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram as Vanawillemiel, Vanawillemiel. It's down in the show notes if you'd like to, because I do a lot of announcements and situations like that. And this has decided to not work. That's super great. I love that. Good morning. Just 1 second. This is deciding to not work. So I just have to do this, and then it might do that. And then, oh, no fires, thank goodness. Nope. Oh no. Oh no. Everything's gone wrong. Rotate device back. This way. There we go. Okay. Hello. Sorry. Now, I had my phone attached to the battery because I was terrified it was going to die. And then, yeah. Anyway, so we are all here together on this chilly January if you're up in the north, and way too hot January when you're down in the south. So, right, this is episode 106 of the Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast. Welcome to this little space, and today I'm going to be talking a lot about knitting, some about spinning, and then I am going to talk a little bit about whatever pops into my head, to be honest. I'm going to be talking a little bit about events that are happening in the future near the end of the podcast. I'm actually heading to Australia in a few weeks. I'm heading to Perth, so I'll talk a little bit more about that, about meetups and things that we're doing in Australia at the end of the podcast. So stay tuned for that. So, if you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram as Vanawillemiel. I'm also on Ravelry as Vanawillemiel as well, and we have a Ravelry group for the podcast, and that's where I host all of my giveaways and, well, a lot of my giveaways and chats and knit-alongs and things like that. So the most recent one that I finished was the, well, we had a Muse Art collaboration, which went really well, and the winner was going to get some beautiful fibre, and then there was fibre, there was yarn, there was undyed yarn, and then there was hand dyed yarn that was available. And also I donated an hour of my time as a tutorial, so a kind of a one-on-one session with me to chat about whatever might be interesting to them. So that is organised for this evening to the winner, so that was great. I was wondering would anyone else be interested in doing that, because it sounds like, you know, it's a nice way to kind of properly dedicate time to people that follow, so that'd be nice. Thank you. So that leads on to what I'm wearing. So what I'm wearing is, my shawl is actually from, look how organized I am. My shawl is from Pom Pom magazine, winter 2018, and it's the issue that was edited by Nora Gaughan, who is the cable expert. And I'm just looking here. This is the shawl. It's the Sojourner shawl. I keep pronouncing it wrong, but it's based on a fabulous women's rights activist, actually anti-slave women's rights activist in 1880. So Sojourner Truth was an African-American born into slavery right in Nora's hometown of Rifkin, New York. She escaped a particularly vile slave owner with her infant daughter, and then managed a Herculean feat of suing successfully for her son's custody. That's pretty incredible. So she would go around and talk about abolition, and she would talk about giving, skills and talents. And she was actually a famous knitter, and she would go around and teach women how to knit so that they could sell their works and make a living for themselves. So it's a beautiful, beautiful shawl. I actually made it out of yarn that I dyed myself, my first ever hand dyed yarns, and this was really my first ever brioche, and it has blips, of course, but that's fine. And my favorite bit is this mesh lace at the bottom here. It's like my absolute favorite bit. So yeah, I love this shawl. It's super soft. I got the yarn bases and dyeing tips and skills from Hannah from Circus Tonic Handmade in Sydney. And then when I was traveling across Canada, I stayed with my friend Máire from the Very Little podcast, who's going through some stuff as well. And so both of these yarns really remind me of my friends when I was traveling. So it's really nice to be cozied up. I'm also wearing two pieces by the Slow Wardrobe. So these are, I'll show you how I'm styling it today. So this is the red layer cake linen tabard. So it's just such a beautiful, beautiful colour. I've popped in a little belt just to give myself a little bit of shape, and I think it's working really pretty. And I'm just have like a normal top underneath, and it's got pockets. Big, huge pockets. I'm also wearing what's called a spinning skirt and my slippers. So I am going spinning today, so I wanted an extra layer and I wanted to be extra comfy, and I've got extra pockets in there. So I've kind of just layered it all on top, and yeah, so you can see my absolutely gorgeous floor. Isn't that fabulous? So that's what I'm wearing today, and I would like to thank the Slow Wardrobe for sponsoring this podcast today. Ooh, hello. Hi. Yes, it's Grace. How are you? Lovely to meet you. Yeah, so the Slow Wardrobe, Linda, has offered me generous sponsorship for the podcast in the form of these garments that she sends to me, and I love them. Oh, I love them so much. And you can follow her by all of the details down below, but also she's given us a 10% discount off of all full price layer cake garments, and if you use the word Babbles cake. So that'll be down below in the show notes as well once I upload this, and yeah. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about Australia, because I have a lot of Australian friends actually online right now. And I actually had, I sent out a parcel to a friend who was very close to the fires and who was quite, she was okay, but her school friends weren't so well off. So yeah, I just want to say that it's devastating what's happening, and there are a few charities that you can donate to if you don't know about it. If you you can look into it yourselves. I've been following my friend Melinda at the Yarnder Woman podcast, and she's been putting up some fabulous charities and resources for people to donate. One of the ones I donated to this morning was the Indigenous peoples kind of battle against their own homes and fires, because, well, the sad thing is they've been hunted off their land and they've had to buy it back to own their own land again in their homeland, in their historical traditional area, and now it's being burnt down because of climate change. And so they might have to be displaced again off their own homeland. So the fund is for these Indigenous peoples to be able to get back onto the land as soon as possible, as soon as the fires go. So it allows them to have that bit of support. So I've donated to that, and I've also donated to the wildlife. There's several wildlife emergencies down there, which are just billions and billions of animals are dying. And it's not okay. So I do hope that you are doing really well. I do hope that you're safe, that your family is safe, and that you aren't too affected. Obviously, you're not going to be watching a podcast if you're in the middle of it, because you've got more important things to do. So, oh, me too, Elka. Yeah, Elska. I wear them. I wear these constantly. When I'm not in my uniform, this is my uniform. So yeah, I do want to say, oh, and I am heading down to Australia, but I'm not heading down to the place where the fires are. I'm not heading down to New South Wales or Melbourne or Victoria or anywhere like that. I'm heading to Perth, which is the opposite side of the country, which also had its a long history of, well, in the last couple of years anyway, huge burns all down in Bundaberg, and so luckily and hopefully the fires will stay away when I'm there in about a week and a bit. I think I'm flying out Monday week, so I'll be there for 2 weeks, and I was planning on actually doing a little meetup with people. I'm getting in like on midnight on Wednesday night, so I'm kind of getting over jet lag on Wednesday, so I was thinking maybe Thursday. I know I'm meeting up with Melinda on Friday, but I'll have a chat with her to see if she wants to join a big group or we'll just do ourselves, because she's got a whole thing. She's going to take me around to all the vegan places. I'm so excited and I can't wait to have you with us. We'll see. The last time we got together, we only had probably like an hour, but actually we ended up talking for about 6 hours. She's so lovely. Oh, I love her so much. So yeah, this is a Remembrances pottery mug. It was made for me with my logo on it. And then, so cute. What's it say? Babbles, Yarns, Global Inspirations. And my lipstick. So, yeah, that's some of the events that I was talking about. Oh, and now I did it at the start, so there's no reason for you to stay. Oh, fine. But, should we get into the knitting? Should we start there? And let's find out what we're all knitting. Okay, so I am knitting an advent project from a New Zealand designer called Truly Myrtle, and it is her timely cardigan. So it's kind of it's a light kind of fitted stripy cardigan, and it is so it looks like this at the moment. And yes, I have turned it into a jumper because I'm going to stick it up the front. Because your girl hates purling so much. I know there's a way to do it, but I actually hate all ways to purl. I have tried a lot of them. So actually looking in this screen, it's looking really nice. So my plan was to make, the last time I showed you actually, it was up here. So I've actually done quite well, if I do say so myself. This is a little Doctor Who. Actually, I'm very Australia themed and New Zealand themed today. This little Doctor Who stitch marker was given to me by Linda, who is in Sydney as well. So she was in my old knit night over there. So that was really sweet. It is beautiful. I'm loving it. I can't wait to wear it. So what I'm doing is I'm using an advent calendar, a naturally dyed advent calendar from Flourish Fibres that I got last year, and they're all naturally dyed, and then the grey in between is also naturally dyed, and that is from Shunnock Yarns. So Flourish Fibres is in the UK, and Shunnock Yarns is a French girl who lives in Ennis in County Clare in Ireland. So it's beautiful. Yeah, so but I'm not keeping it as a pullover, Elska. I am actually cutting it up. Yeah, lovely. I'll see you in the rerun. So I'm actually knitting it, changing colors just here at the front. If you can see, there's a little bit of a gap there because it's every two. If this was in my helical knitting technique, it would be every one and it would be seamless, but it's not. Instead, it's like this. But the reason that I don't really care about that is because I'm going to be cutting it up the front and opening it out to be a cardigan again, just because I am the laziest person on this earth. Yes, I am. So it's coming on super lovely. I was worried about this transition between the green and the purple, but I think it works really well. Actually, I think it works really nicely. So yeah, so the sleeves, I am actually, hi, how are you? I have so much yarn left over for the sleeves, so I'll just do them two at a time in the same way. Yeah. So I'm only using a little bit of the yarn really on these stripes. It was like 10 grams in each mini, and I've already gone through like a load. So there's 24 minis, obviously. Then, so on the pattern I counted on her picture, and I imagine she's like a small. She had something like 37 stripes, or 35 or 37 stripes, and then kind of a long border of grey at the bottom at the rib. And it's kind of like a little croc cardigan or something. But if I do 2 rows of every colour, I get, what, 48 stripes? So it's kind of a lot. So I've kind of been cutting out a few colours which are very, very similar. Like there are some, like I feel like these oranges were too similar to go together, but that's fine. It's grand. So I'm just going to keep going, and it's going to kind of go into a rainbow and down into yellow again, and I've still plenty of this, and then the sleeves are going to be just the same. I'm going to knit them 2 at a time once I finish the body, and I'm just going to do 2 at a time with either end of the ball of yarn, you know what I mean? So the little balls are only about this size left now. But I'll still get loads. Do you know, I'll actually get loads. There's only 4, I only need to do 4 rounds on each sleeve. So 8 rounds of maybe 40 stitches, and it'll be grand. It's barely a sock. Like, there's plenty in that still. So I think I'm going to get away with it, you know? Yes! So that's where I am on this one. I'm loving it. I'm now down into the kind of orangey reds, and with naturally dyed yarns there are 1 million types of orangey reds, so it's going to be quite orangey red down here, but that's fine. You tend to get a lot of yellows, greens and oranges if you use madder anyway, so I'm quite excited about all of that. So that's my Advent project. If I have it finished by next Advent, I'll be delighted. But I'm kind of cracking on with that, so it's quite nice. I have it in my Cottage number 9 bag, my lovely wraparound bag, and this is kind of like a softer, it has a softer denim up here, which is nice. So it kind of smushes down into something a little bit more, but it's still quite solid and sturdy. And I love a dark bottom. The dirt shows up less on it. Big fan of a dark bottom. So that is my little, and I don't have all of the 24 minis in there. I take about 5 or 6 at a time and I move them in. So good morning. So yeah, so it's pretty good. Like, it's not too much. I've actually used quite a lot already, so I'm going to take them out and put them in. But it's a beautiful bag, and I think she has some in her shop actually. My Cottage number 9 is the name of the shop, and she's on Etsy. I'll put it in the show notes as well after. Now the show notes aren't up there at the moment. They'll be uploaded once I have this uploaded. So once we're done. Hello from Scotland. Hello Scotland. How are you? Yeah. So that has been my knitting. I have to kind of, because it's all lots of little balls of wool. No, I haven't seen that backpack actually. I have so many bags though. I do not need any more bags. Stop with the bags. Apart from Terry's bags, because I love them so much. So my next project is also shockingly in a My Cottage number 9 bag. I just love them. They're so good. You can literally just plop them and let them stand on the ground. Things come out of them super easy. They're really easy to carry around with their little handles and the straps, and they're perfect size. Oh, I love them so much. Anyway, sorry. So this is the first bag. The first bag I got off her actually was this kind of standard project bag. It was kind of like a big sweater, like a Christmas sweater bag. And she brought that to knit night one day, which was awesome. So, yeah. Good thing, Gillian. So that's what I quite like about lives. It's like, you don't have to be dressed up. Only I have to be dressed up, so it's fine. You know, you can contribute. You don't have to be perfect. So yeah, this is one of the first wraparound bag that I got, and I absolutely love it. Yeah, they're on Etsy. Yeah, they're on Etsy under My Cottage number 9. Yes, I don't have well, it'll be in the show notes underneath. So, but if you want to pop over and just type in all one word, My Cottage No 9, like NO9, her bags are gorgeous. Hey, Ellie! Her bags are so good. She's actually been a seamstress all of her life, and she used to do like curtains, she used to do dressmaking. She's incredibly talented. And now she's kind of working on project bags because she's gotten into knitting and podcasting and watching them all. And I really want her to start one because I think she'd be hilarious. But anyway, I'm gonna get you in big trouble. I don't know how many she has in her shop at the moment, so head over. They do kind of go fast because she doesn't make that many, do you know what I mean? Because they're all handmade and individual, so obviously they kind of go quick. So, but yeah, keep an eye, favorite her, and if you happen to have any Christmas money, hashtag just saying. So what's in this bag? So this bag is my spin and make along project. This is, so myself and Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast had a long running Cal in 2019, last year. How crazy is that? Last year. Anyway, so it started in like April and then it ran until November the 30th. And then, yeah, well, I mean, I had 6 months to do this because I already had almost all the yarn already spun. Anyway, I should have been starting it, but sure, whatever. I spun I had 2 of these skeins already spun up, and then I was just finishing off the last 2 in the Tour de Fleece in July, and then I started and then I stalled. Why did I stall? Why did I stop? I can't remember. I was doing other things. But yeah, now that I've got past, I think I stalled because I didn't know when I was supposed to split the sleeves, and that stumps me sometimes. And I'm just like, I can't think about that. I need simple. So then now that I'm onto the body, I'm pretty much there. Like I'm on the rib. This is a pattern. It's the So Faded cardigan. No, So Faded sweater. And this is also going to be steeked. Maybe. I'll see. Probably steeked. The thing I know that I'm missing in my wardrobe is cardigans because I hate purling. I don't knit them. It's a problem. Oh yeah, so Gillian, just so you know, this is a slow wardrobe dress, and it's actually this podcast is sponsored by them, and the details are down below, and you can get 10% off if you use my code. Sorry, I just didn't want it because I think she came in a bit later. So yeah, so here I am now. Okay, so the first 3 colors are from Irish Fairytale Yarns. Yeah, it's kind of a plummy. I know, I love the belt. It just kind of gives a little bit of a shape. Just remember that I have a bit of a shape. So this is from Irish Fairytale Yarns, and it was 2 gradient skeins. No. What are they called? Why don't I have the words? Braids, 2 gradient braids, and they were quite similar in color. So I spun them and then I knit them together with helical knitting. So 2 braids, thank you, Julian. 2 braids, and then I turned them into 2 skeins, 2 gradient skeins, and then I knit them together using the helical knitting technique or the jogless join technique. And you can see that there is no, like apart from the raglan seaming, like that, it just comes up so perfect, absolutely perfect. And on the inside as well, you have no real line or anything if you're using 2 yarns together. And I have a video on the helical technique, which a lot of people have recommended. Thank you so much for that. I didn't invent it. It's not me that invented it. I just did a tutorial on it because people were asking me. So yeah. There's no seam anywhere. It's completely seamless. And when you're changing balls, I'm effectively alternating skeins. So you can use it on kind of indie dyed yarns that aren't aren't exactly matched in the colorway. If you wanted to kind of blend all the colors together and get a similar, similar look. So you can also do it to get like really small stripes, like one stripe stripes. You can also do it that way, and that would be great as well. And you can make loads of little hats and things, and you get a lovely little, if you don't have enough, you can then stripe it and make it nice. And this is the So Faded, and it's fantastic for fading colours. The helical technique, it's the best way I think I've found of fading colours. So that is how I did that. So I went down to about here, and then I started to, I think it was about here actually, and then I kind of ran out of one of the colours, so I joined in another ball. And sorry, the ball is here, but it was really dark brown in the centre, and then it started moving into plummy, and that's what the purple is. I've got it on a very small needle as well. So I think the first two balls finished around here, and then it started moving into a purple, and then I added in the final colour, which is a variegated purple handspun with a little bit of blue shone in there. So that is at the end, and I am currently on the rib. Now, the reason I have such tiny needles is because I'm just going around and around and around and around and around and around, and it makes it go so much faster if I do have it at this stage. So I say it's a rib, it's actually a seed stitch that I'm doing just to keep it lying flat. And it's just, I just didn't fancy doing a rib. I find that a rib really pulls in way too tight, and it makes, I don't know, makes it kind of frumpy a tiny bit. I just want something that hangs, just hangs flat. Like a garter stitch would have worked fine as well, except I just didn't want a garter. I wanted something a little bit more sophisticated. So I went with a seed stitch. I find that I tend to use garment patterns just as a guideline to start. Like, what are the starting numbers? Where do I split for the shoulders? And then after that, I'm like, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. You can leave me alone now. I just literally don't even look at the pattern anymore, because I'm like, I can just try it on until it's long enough. You know, everyone's body is different. So if I need to, you know, I get to the numbers for the arms and the bust, and then I just try it on, and I'm like, okay, that seems a bit right, or I need a bit more because my arm size is a bit longer or something. And yeah, so I use patterns just for the start. So I only use probably about 25% of the pattern. I know, I think that's the hardest part of the pattern, surely. Unless you're doing some fancy, unless you're doing some sort of fancy patterning or something, you know, or lace work or cable work or colour work, then most of a simple pattern with no pattern, no like texture on the garment itself is all the numbers up here. If you're doing a top down, obviously, if you're doing a bottom up, or if you're doing jumper pieces, you need the whole pattern, I suppose. But who's got time for that? Not me. So yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to knit this till. I probably need to change out the needle size, change out the needle, and try it on and see what it's going to be doing for me then. Yeah, so that's where I am with this, and now I started knitting. I can't stop. Oh, I put up an Instagram post there about the 3 things I do to try and make me a little bit faster. I think it was only 2. I can only think of 2 now. Oh no, 3. So the first one was helical knitting. The second one was using a smaller needle size in order to make the stitches come round to me a little quicker, so you don't have to shove them along all the time. And then the third one, I'm not very good at numbers. The third one is actually using 2 different needle sizes when you're knitting. So the needle on the right, when you're knitting, is making the stitches, is creating the stitches. The needle on the left is the stitches that you've made previously coming around and just falling off, right? So you don't really need to have the left-hand needle, you don't need to have that the same size. In fact, it's easier to make it smaller so the stitches fall off it easier, faster. Like only probably minimally, like probably a fraction of a second, a fraction of a stitch quicker. But you're doing thousands of stitches. That adds up to probably 20 minutes. I don't know. But it does make it a lot easier. It does make it a lot faster for me, I find. So the only needle that really needs to be the right size to get gauge is your right hand needle, the needle that's making the stitches, you know. Skein Deer says, I'm such a tight knitter, I always attach a smaller needle for the left hand. It does. Yeah, exactly. It just makes things fall off. She always does that. You always do that. Your right needle is your gauge needle, left one is just storage. Exactly. Exactly. It's just storage. So it just helps it move off as well. Especially if you're a tight knitter, because if you've got the same needle on this size and you're trying to get in, you've made this really tight stitches really hard. So yeah. Good, Gillian. I'm glad that those ideas are going to help you. And then I had a lot of people mention that they use kind of like little cheerleaders, which is stitch markers along the way to help long miles and miles and miles of stockinette go faster, which is like every 10 rows or so, you just put in a stitch marker and just put it in a little progress keeper, and just to encourage you to show. Of course, I only bring those needles with me, and then when I am out, I need to do short rows. Oh, stop! No, let's not talk about short rows. Yeah, no. I actually always keep, because that's happened to me, I always keep the other big one in the bag with me, because that's happened. I also have an extra long cable in my knitting bag with the project, just in case I get to the point where I need to try it on and I have to transfer all the stitches over. Prepared sometimes. Hi, are you burning, Lynn? I hope you're not burning. We were talking about a couple of things earlier on about that. Oh God, it's awful down there. Yeah, and I'm heading down. I'm terrified. Look how white I am. I mean, ripe for the burning. Oh gosh. Anyway, but you know. So, yeah, so those are the two projects that I'm doing. Now, oh, another issue. So, with a gradient skein, it's then super hard to stop because I need to do sleeves. And I ran out of yarn, and the only yarn I have left really is going to be this yarn, and I didn't want it to go, because I'd had such a beautiful gradient all the way down. I really didn't want to go just like purple sleeves. I might as well just not do sleeves and just wear a top underneath. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really want that. So yeah. So what I did was I decided I was going to dye yarn, and then I was like, oh, my kitchen's so clean after Christmas. Oh no, I don't want to mess it up. So instead I went on Etsy with a lovely gift card from the in-laws, and I found this shop in Limerick who had fibre, the right colours. Yes, you do have to learn on circular needles if you want. So these came in the post, so I have to spin them obviously, but I'm probably going to blend. These are probably the biggest kind of jump in color, but I can blend them together. And then this one, which is this beautiful deep chocolate. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Beautiful deep. Oh, that's lovely actually. So nice. And then a black, because there is actually black in the picture as well. So what I'm gonna do is probably gonna do, maybe I could do a bat. Maybe I could blend a bat. I got these from a shop. Where is the sign? There it is. It's on Etsy. So she sells from home. She actually comes to Knit Night. Sometimes. Now she hasn't been in a while because she's just had a baby, but this is her shop that you can buy on Etsy, and she posts, obviously it comes like the next day because she's in Limerick. So this is Silky Stories. Bye June, lovely to have you. So this is the shop, Silky Stories, and Karina's her name. She's fabulous. She's actually a doll maker, and she is a felter, fabulous felter as well. So she has a lot of silks, like hand-dyed silks, and fibres as well. So but this is beautiful stuff. It's like really soft merino wool. She obviously imports it from Italy, I think. Yeah, Italy. And these are all in biodegradable bags as well. But yeah, so I'm going to be blending those up, and I just wanted someone just double checked, make sure they match, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're sleeves, they'll be fine. Now I'm like, oh dear, what if they don't? What if they don't? So these are the sleeves here, sleevesies. They'll look like that. Yeah, it'll be grand. That one really matches here, and then this one there. Then, okay, so I was doing another thing. I was trying to find, but I had no dark brown fibre. So I was trying to find colours and things that would match. And I had a braid of yarn, a braid of fibre, which is kind of has this more orangey colour. So I'll probably blend in some of that as well. 2 at a time. I do all my sleeves 2 at a time. I do everything 2 at a time that needs to be exactly the same because I don't have time to be doing anything else. So this was an option, but I don't really need the blue on top, so I can use a little bit of the yellow. And then I was trying to do something like, I was trying to go along the sea theme. He said, hey, how are you? So I was going to go along the sea theme, and then I was like, oh, it's not really, like, that feels like it's going back down. I mean, it could work. I could start in the yellow and then go back down into a blue. That could work too. So if you see, this is my attempt. So I think I'm gonna blend these together and make something. So yeah. Yeah, I think it needs, Gillian, I think you're right. I think it needs to be the brown. What do you think? The brown or the sea theme? Will we go brown or sea? Knitting 2 sleeves at a time. Yeah, it's the best, Erin. Now it does feel like it goes slowly, but then you're done. You don't have to go back and knit another sleeve. Oh my God. And then you don't have to be worrying about when did I do this and when did I do that and when did I, you know, no, don't have to do it. You can just do it all together, all at one time. So yeah, I don't know. I'll see how I go. I like it. I like it a lot. I feel like that I didn't know that there was so much brown in it. Like, it's a lot of brown. And I'm like, is that going to make me feel really big around the tummy? Like, it should be grand. I did my Buy Lollipop. Oh yes, yeah, getting purely with Mrs. Unnecessary. Only started focusing on knitting 12 months ago. Well done. Well done. That's a lovely top, I think. I'd love to try that. That's a nice little one. Yeah, I think it's looking cute. So I'm coming up with lots of issues with it, but that's fine. Oh, also, this is how much I've knit over the Christmas holidays. It's pretty good. It's pretty good if I do say so myself. Whoop, hip, whoop, yip, whoop, yeah. Nice. Nice. So this is the one that my cats got me this morning. Yeah, hey, how are you? So those are kind of the few bits that I'm doing. There's basically just 2 projects, and I'm trying to figure out how to get the sleeves on the 3rd project by spinning. I don't have anything on my loom since the class. I'm waiting on a parcel from Sweet Georgia, and I want to warp up the loom using some fibre that I have spun from them, but I'm just waiting on a skein of charcoal from them to do the weft. So we'll see. Hi! Yeah, both sleeves at once. Best time, best thing ever. There's loads of tips actually before you came if you want to have a little look. Maybe some green on the bottom, Grace. Sea change to tree change. Oh, that would be nice. I think I'm almost too late for the... Do you know what I was thinking? This kind of is a bit West Clare in that it goes from sea to sand to bog, which is more accurate in Ireland. That's what our... Or mountain streams, maybe it's like a mountain beach, you know, on the Corrie Lake, something like that. I don't know, but I am loving it, and I love knitting with the hand spun. I love it. I can't wait to dry it, to block it, because some of the stitches are kind of, they're anxious stitches, some of these stitches. So when it blocks out, it'll be slightly less anxious, and all of it will be knit into that, and then it'll be gone like that, right? That's how it works. Good morning. You're up too early. Ah, sure, 'tis grand. It's good to be up early. That's my New Year's resolution, actually, to try and get up early and go to sleep early. You got a loom. Oh my God, you're already on 2-1 twill. Disgusting. So nice. So the silk, are you talking about the Moisart silk? I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I still need to wash it. It's too long to be a table runner. Too long. Oh yeah, it would match Western Australia colours. It definitely would if it was ochre, but it's more of a deep peat bog brown, which is very Irish. So what was I saying? Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I definitely have enough to make a garment. So I think it's definitely going to be a garment of sorts. Don't know what type. It might just be, do you know, actually I was thinking, would it be cute to make it like the little, to make it like a bridal dressing gown for the morning of my wedding? I think that would be cute. I think that might be what I'm doing. It's so long. There is so much fabric. Bog brown. It is bog brown. The silk is beautiful. But yeah, I think I might. That's a nice idea, isn't it? And it's super easy. I'll just do the same thing as my coat again. It'd be grand. Just cut it in 4 and just sew across the top, sew down the middle, sew down the sides. Happy days. 5 a.m. Oh, good. I'm glad. You know, I was woken up this morning by the cats fighting aggressively on the end of the bed at like 4:30, and I was like, no, that's too early. It's Saturday morning. Go away. So yeah, I kicked them off the bed, literally booted them off the bed, and they went downstairs and then decided to attack this, and I found this all over my floor, which is super duper. Could make a pillow slip style top with the silk. It's actually so long it would be a dress, I think. So it would be nice to have it like as a card, like as a long robe. I think that would be nice. 3 a.m. Oh no. In Australia? Tomorrow? What are you doing time traveling over there? At least they don't lean on your knitting like someone. Oh, pee! Pee on your knitting. No. What else do you do when you can't sleep? Me. I have these things called sleep phones, and oh, okay, it's 9:15 in Melbourne. Okay, I have these things called sleep phones. So they're kind of flat earphones that James bought them for me as a Christmas present last year, and then we fixed them, and then it's a Christmas present again this year. Hello, Mama. Hello. That's not your name, but I can't remember. But yeah, so I have a couple of ASMR videos that I listen to. There's one which is like just hair brushing, which just kind of really relaxes me out. And then there's another one which is kind of just kind of playing with your ears. I don't know, it's really weird probably, but I love it. Yes, I love it too. So that might help you a little bit. I love ASMR stuff. I love kind of just like gentle, kind of the hair brushing stuff is really nice. It sounds really nice and it just kind of chills me out. I think my favorite is gentle whispering. She's my favorite one. Audible books help me, but nothing too interesting because then I'm like, what happens next? And what happens next? I also have the Can app and I have their sleep stories, but I actually cannot stand your one Tamara. She wrecks my head. She's got that vocal fry that annoys the something out of me. So I have to listen to some of the other stories in there. So they're quite good as well. Also body scan meditations on YouTube as well. I find really good when I can't get back to sleep. Yeah, because often it's all stuff going around in my head. I mean, obviously if there's other people making noise, there's, you know, a body scan isn't going to get rid of it. Or if there's cats, I will lock them in the kitchen and tell them to shut up. You know, something like that. So, or snoring. James doesn't snore. He only snores when he's going to sleep and then he quietens off. So it's all right. I can poke him out of the snoring. So that's good for now. What's it going to develop into? Oh my God. Do you have any tricks that you like to do when you can't sleep, or no? Audiobooks, yeah. Queensland or taste? You fall asleep with your needles in your hands. Oh, Tassie. Oh, yeah. Queensland. You watch me. Oh, I put you to sleep. That's nice. Actually, I was thinking, someone was saying that they would love to have me read books. And I think I'd love that. I used to do. Oh, I must look at that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I always do that as well. Yeah. Your husband snores. All three of your dogs do too. Headphones. Yeah, big time. Yeah, sometimes it's just better to get up and do something and then maybe have a nap in the day, kind of. And getting up early is how all successful people succeed, apparently. So, yeah, I've got a really bad crick in my neck the last couple of days and I can't figure out what I did. I must have slept weird on it, but I'm just trying to ease it out now a little bit. I had a hot shower this morning and I have I've put all the creams on it, the deep heat and the cold heat or whatever, and the painkillers and all that jazz. Hurts music. Get up and knit it. Yeah, I think I really would like to do audiobooks. I used to. So when my brother and sister were small, the Harry Potter books were coming out and they couldn't read them because my brother was a dyslexic and my sister was just too young, so they were a bit big for her, but they loved the stories. So I would read them first in 24 hours because I was a super fast reader. And then I found, I must look that up, Friday Catch It. And then I said that I'd read it to them, and so generous and kind and loving of me, but it was mainly a bartering system in which they would get me whatever I wanted if I read another chapter. So it was pure extortion, cruelty, whatever you want. It's called being a big sister to your younger sister and brother. So I used to read all the Harry Potter books, and apparently still to this day the Harry Potter books are when I read them to my sister and my brother, and not Stephen Fry or any of the rest of them. It's when I read them. So yeah, I think I'd love to read audiobooks. There was this, James was looking it up. Apparently you can audition for books, but then you have to do all the recording and then you have to do all the editing, and I'm like, no, I just want to read the books. I want someone else to organize all the stuff. I can't be arsed with editing. Can't do that. But did you do voices? I think I did. Yeah, but they're all Irish accents. I didn't do any English accents because I know it was set in England, but I think I just did Hagrid was from Kerry or somewhere. And Hermione was just really annoying. Hermione was me, my voice. Harry was just me as well, but less annoying. And then Ron was probably my brother, but anyway. I don't know. I just read them. I read them out loud, and I can't remember if I did real crazy voices. There are no other accents. Well, yeah. There was the French accent. They were written out if they were accents, weren't they? So you kind of just read them like Crumb. It was written like he had an accent, so I would do his accent if it was written out. Or Fleur, I would do a French accent for Fleur. So yeah. So all the rest of them, yeah. But the Bolina audiobook recording studio. Oh, what? I didn't know there were these things. I must look up and see. Maybe could be another side hustle. Because I do love reading and I do love audiobooks, and I have very specific hates when it comes to audiobooks, narrators. So I feel like I would know, Oh, this crick in my neck is driving me mad. Right, lads. So that's all I really need to say. Is it actually? Oh, sorry. Now I have a few things that I was going to talk about. I have a few events coming up, and it's with the Guild. So if you're not in Ireland, you're probably not going to be able to come. But if you are in Ireland, then you should definitely go and come. and do all of that. So there's 2 classes run by the guild. One is an advanced rigid heddle weaving class, and that is for anyone that has a rigid heddle and they want to investigate more and see what else their little loom can do. So they're talking about lace, they're talking about double weave, different types of Brooks bouquet, of cabling, things like that you can weave on your rigid heddle loom. And yeah, so she's gonna have them all set up, and we'll all, like, everyone will have a go. I'm trying to get up to it, but I don't know if I can. I really want to go because Máire in Neachtain is an incredible weaver. She trained up in NCAD in the weaving course there, and she has an absolute wealth of knowledge about weaving. Absolutely everything I learned out from her. She's a fabulous teacher. So that is going to be held on the 2nd of February, and it's going to be in the Constant Knitter. I think it's from like 10:30 until 4, and I'll put out the details of the class. I have like a Facebook, and I have a website kind of where you can book and stuff. So for that, and then the next one is spinning on a drop spindle, so kind of like beginner spinning with Dee. So Dee Murphy, she is based in Dublin. She's a Canadian living in Dublin. Yeah, wrong side of the planet, sorry. But she is going to be teaching drop spinning from loads of different types of spindles and loads of different types of fibre prep, and she's a fabulous teacher as well. She's also, you can follow her as Urban Spinner on Instagram. She's really into kind of simplifying small tiny, small kind of economic space, simplicity, and so she only has drop spindles, so that's how she spins the whole time, because there's no space for her in the wheel. She feels like she absolutely loves drop spinning. So what spindle would you recommend for a complete beginner? A student spindle from Ashford, or literally, spindles are very cheap, are super cheap, and they're like, I don't know, €12. A Bosworth is very beautiful but quite expensive, and I haven't got one yet, but yeah, I would start with something easy and has a nice balance. I like you're all about quality, of course. But I don't know if I'd buy it for a beginner who didn't really know, and then if you didn't like it, they've got this like very expensive, yeah. So, but like, you can buy a spindle for like €12, I'd say €12, €15, something like that. And now if you got the Bosworth and you were like, I'm gonna love this, it would be amazing. Like, I suppose there is that thing where if you want to try something, try it on something good, and then you'll really see the quality and the spin. You'll get the spin really nice. But if you're just learning and if you're not sure, I would start with something that's not so beautiful. But I totally get what you're talking about, Gillian, totally. But I would always be scared about throwing myself into like an expensive hobby like that, So yeah, anything that'll spin. I think now a lot of people say, what would you recommend? Beginner wheel? What would you recommend for this? You learn on the spindle you have, you learn on the wheel you have, so then that becomes yours. So it almost doesn't particularly matter which type you get, because you will learn how to do it. Oh, Hannah, stop! Thank you so much. Yay! Sorry, Hannah, that's crazy. So, sorry. Thank you so much, Hannah, for donating a little bit towards the Reading Fund. It's a hard time, you know what I mean. I don't know if you guys know about that, but there's this feature that you can what's it called? Super Chats. I think it's called Super Chats, where you can actually, if you want to donate something towards the podcast, you can actually type in a comment and donate something toward, instead of like a Patreon or whatever, it goes into the funding and stuff. So you were, yeah, Gillian. So that is a really amazing way to learn how to spin, is if you get access to loads of different spinning wheels and try them all and see how you go. But a lot of people don't have that facility, like they don't have a guild which has a lot of wheels, or they don't have this, or they don't have that. Yeah, Turkish spindles are super lovely. I I really want one by Turtle Made. I should have bought that with my voucher, but anyway, really want a Turtle Made spindle. I'd say try get a spindle as local to you as possible, and so you know, so it doesn't cost too much shipping and all of that jazz, and then see how you go. And then after that, then after spending 20 euros, then you'd be like, oh, actually I think I want a nicer one, and then you can be like, oh, I'm gonna spend 50 euros, 80 euros, whatever, you know, on whatever you like. But on my first one was an Ashford spindle, and it's something like this. It was a top whirl. What is it? Yeah, it was a top whirl, and oh, hang on 1 second. Come here 1 second. So it's a top whirl, and so the whirl is on the top and you've got a little hook. Now I can also turn this into a bottom whirl by basically doing a slip knot. Hang on. This way? Hang on. Oh gosh, I'm not very good at this bottom whirl business. But you can actually turn it into that, and you can spin it that way as well. So they're quite flexible, really. I really like Acreworks. Acreworks is another one which is a little bit expensive, but you can do a lot with it. There's a little $ to the right of the box. You type the chat in and you can do super chats there. Oh, that's how you do it. Oh, thanks, Hannah. One day I'll photograph my spindles collection. Corner of graph. Yeah, there's so, oh, I must do it on some of the people. So Hannah, you go on live all the time. You gave me the idea for this, so thank you so much. So yeah, when it comes to spindles and when it comes to wheels, it does, oh, maybe it has to be on a computer. Julianne, maybe you do. So there's that now. But these are super simple. I bought this off of Wingham Woolworks. I think it was like only €7 or something like that. They're lovely. They're just, so you're looking for a balanced, something balanced. You can also make one using 2 CDs, that if you have CDs anymore in your house, that you can just tape together. Yeah. So many people have started weaving actually this Christmas. It's so funny. You can blame me for everything. You can blame me for absolutely anything you want. I don't care. So, yeah. I think there's a lot of weaving going on. I think it's like Etsy has a few reasonably priced ones. Yes, Etsy has some of the, you know, actually I really love the Etsy ones because they're often like hand carved or, you know, like woodworkers. So you can blame Dunderknit for the knitting, and then you can blame me for other crafts that you really don't want to get into, but you have to now because you saw me at it. Ugh, typical. Ugh, that grace. But Dunderknit is for knitting, knitwares. I'll have to have a chat with her. We have to establish where the blame lies. She'll give out to me. What? Okay, so I'm spinning a silk cocoon here now, and there's like a bit that is not plain ball, so I'm just going to take it out somehow. Okay, it's gone. You need to Grace to come to your house and help me warp my loom. I charge a lot for that. Blame Babbles. It does have a nice ring to it. It does. I'm just saying. You'll have to start it. You'll have to start it, lads. Blame Babbles. Wait, is that a song from something else? I don't know. You've given me the weaving book. I'm saving up for my loom. Yay! And what type of loom are you looking into? I'm thinking of going a little bit bigger, actually. I'm thinking of getting the 24-inch loom, and now that This Is Knit has started to stock them, I'm like, oh hey! So I've got a list as long as my arm. Because I don't want to pay the shipping, you know. I'll just get them to, I'll collect it a woolen or something. And yeah, so super. I think I want to go 24-inch, but I'll need the stand for it. I just didn't want to go above the 16 because then I feel like I wouldn't use it. A Kromsky as it folds up. Oh, so is it like a multi-shaft loom or is it a rigid Heddle loom? Interesting. Anyway, you guys, I think I'm actually going to have to go. Thank you so much to my super chats person. Hannah, thank you so much for that. That's lovely. It does help a lot, and it's kind of cute. And now my crick in my neck is all. Your husband said he'd divorce you if you got a wheel or a loom. That doesn't sound. I know. That doesn't sound super great. It's a rigid Heddle loom that folds up in a Kromsky. Oh, interesting. Is it kind of like the knitter's loom, the Ashford knitter's loom? When Armageddon happens, it'll be the fibres that saves us. It's true. Couldn't really afford the loom I wanted, so I made one. Nice! See, looms are actually super simple. It's a couple of sticks and string. Like, that's actually what a loom is. People have been weaving for thousands of years. Do I have the... Oh, stop that now. Oh no! Oh, Jamie, thank you so much. Another super chats! Another super chatter! That's so kind. Thank you so much. You're my favorite, both of you. I'm going really red now. It's all good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, well. Thank you for coming to my house this morning. I'm sorry I didn't have any tea put on, but I'm trying to drink lemon and hot water. Apparently, I used to do it a lot. Do you know when you used to do these good things and then, you know, they slip by? So I'm gonna go back. Then he went and made your Inca loom. Well, that's a pretty good husband, actually. Actually, I take it all back. He's a really good husband if he can make an Inca loom. And they're neat and they're narrow and they're nice. I like that. I need James to make me an Inca loom. No, he's fine with me buying stuff, so it's fine. Just pay someone else. Throw money at the problem if you have the money. Lucky me. But anyway. So, right. I'm gonna go now. Thank you so much. This has been so fun. I love this so much. And I will see you when I see you. Hubby's come and goes. Let's have yes. Hubby's come and goes. Looms are forever. Your husband also made a loom for you. Where are you getting these guys? James needs to up his game. Bye guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Let's do it again super soon. Where can we find the coupon? I will pop it down below once I have it uploaded. So have a look back in a couple of hours and I'll have it. Yeah, no, you don't need much to make a backstrap loom at all. I'll put all the details down below of all the discount codes I've mentioned and all the different shops that I've mentioned and all of the different people I've mentioned. And thank you so much to those people who gave me some nice cash for the wedding. Because things are starting, it's this side of Christmas now, and things are gonna start adding up. So thank you very much. I love you. I love you all. I love you all so much from all over the world. I hope you're safe. I hope no fires are attacking you. And I hope that everything is going to be okay for you.